And Mr. Musk wasn't done. The billionaire revealing the real reason why he bought Twitter in the first place.
In a world where the internet is under siege and free speech is under threat, one voice is calling for action against a global crackdown on information. Joe Rogan draws attention to the peculiar ways in which podcasts in Canada are being tightly managed under a patriotic guise, both to censor and to encourage content created in Canada. Elon Musk has received a letter from the EU that reads like a strange and menacing bureaucratic gangster letter, telling him to take control of his platform or else they will take control of it for him. You're aware that the British government demanded in writing that social media companies demonetize our material in a letter to every platform. Elon Musk is receiving menacing letters from the EU ordering him to take control of his platform. According to Joe Rogan, Canada is exerting unprecedented control over podcasts, and the country wrote to YouTube proposing to demonetize this channel. What, therefore, should we do in response to this worldwide suppression of free expression? And to whom will we address our concerns? What is the purpose of this globalist suppression of free expression then? What fears do they harbour? What do they wish to prevent? And how are we going to stop them as a group? Let's listen to Joe Rogan discuss the new censorship rules in Canada that give them unprecedented authority over podcasts. Jordan Peterson is obviously the target of particular malice there, along with new regulations enabling banks to evict occupants. Everything about it is remarkable, and it's not occurring in a disjointed or isolated manner. It appears coordinated. Do you believe that it is well planned? What is your theory on how these things occur? Do you believe that centralist groups are the source of them? How is the notion of these new legislatures passing concurrently? How does it take place? Elon Musk and Meta's Mark Zuckerberg have received letters from Thierry Breton, the European Commissioner for the Internal Market, requesting that they abide by the EU's new comprehensive internet regulations known as the Digital Services Act. Since social media is currently providing real-time coverage of the conflict between Israel and Gaza, propaganda and false information about X are circulating, according to experts. Propaganda and false information are circulating on X. That intellect was lacking. Do you think they mean misinformation and propaganda, or do you think they could mean information that they'd rather you not have access to, perhaps because it will provide you with fodder for criticism of the interests of the establishment? Do you believe that the powerful agenda is amplified and normalized in the legacy media, and that the reason social media cannot be effectively regulated is because well-crafted, visually appealing counteractives, neither true or false, can succeed in virtual spaces? A network of at least 67 accounts that shared misleading information about the battle and received millions of views was discovered by the research team Alpha. The identity of the person behind these accounts is unknown to researchers. The ongoing, worsening Middle East war is also being used as justification for censorship. Now, any crisis will be used to impose authoritarian policies, foster an environment where it is necessary, and then enact laws of sorts. These days, this occurs often. We understand that this system, which was once on the verge of becoming a conspiracy theorist hoax, is now exactly what it is. It functions much like gravity. It's just a law that you have to keep an eye on. Due to the current situation, we will have to implement new laws that will essentially force people to suffer while giving us more power. That's just the way things are. After this is X's owner, Elon Musk, fired a large portion of the trust and safety team, which was in charge of keeping an eye on posts, when he took over the business. The FBI and CIA represented that trust and safety team. As far as we are aware, the Twitter files never occurred. They provided no coverage at all on the Twitter file thing. They choose to overlook it. What a fantastic tale. Look, the FBI and CIA are really paying for this. They are controlling information. They are penetrating. They're probably doing it on Facebook, and they probably are at legacy media as well. The European Union wrote the billionaire a letter earlier this week that was made public and contained some several language. Brutal letters are being sent to the right locations. How come it's 1920? Dear Sir or Madam, dare I say X, about, quote, repurpose historical photos of unrelated military operations or footage that really come from X's video games. This has been selected for approval, hasn't it? They of course discovered an example. We all know this form of social media accounts. Anyone who uses the internet knows that a lot of false information is out there. We don't genuinely doubt the existence of false information. We want to know who you want in control of your interactions with all information sources and who will decide what constitutes accurate information and false information. Do you really want it to be the same people and organizations that have devoted their entire lives to manipulating and taking advantage of you? Starting in 2001 and continuing through 2019 and beyond, these groups have used every crisis to make life harder for regular people. The energy crisis, subsidized energy companies, increased profits for energy companies. The military-industrial complex, profits from wars. the health crisis, pharmaceutical profits for pharmaceutical companies. How in the world could you suggest? Let the people behind that decide what we can say to each other. They are really enjoyable. They requested that Musk take down any misleading and unlawful content right now. Penalties may be levied on the Silicon Valley business otherwise. Musk then pivoted and requested that the EU enumerate the transgressions to which they are making reference. In his own words, I still don't know what they're talking about. There are new regulations governing podcast streaming services in Canada, but not everyone is thrilled with them, even foreigners. This occurs in response to a statement issued by the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, CRTC, announcing the advancement of its strategy to guarantee that internet streaming providers meaningfully contribute to Canadian and Indigenous content. We are creating a cutting-edge broadcasting infrastructure that is flexible enough to change with the times. CEO and CRTC Chair Vicky Eatreed stated, "We need strong public records and broad engagements to do that." Currently, internet streaming providers with yearly sales of $10 million or more are required to disclose information about their operations in Canada. By November 28, 2023, they must also finish a registration form. Those who use social media to disseminate podcasts are exempt from registering, but social media platforms and internet businesses that provide podcasts must. A list of services that have been registered will be posted on CRTC's website. It adds. As you might guess, several members of the public were not pleased with this. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and the owner of X, for example, criticized Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's administration on Sunday, calling the plan to regulate podcasts shameful. Furthermore, he said that X, formerly known as Twitter, will uphold the freedom of free expression and that Trudeau is trying to crush free speech in Canada. A Use Express agreement writing that opposition is necessary to oppose Trudeau and his consorted media manipulation. The action was described as incredibly disturbing by another user. Musk has previously made jokes about Trudeau. Instead, the multimillionaire commented at the truckers' protest last year, stating that freedom is being stripped away one piece at a time until it's gone, and that Canadian truckers rule. Beginning on November 20, the CRTC will host a 3-week public procedure during which over 100 interveners representing a wide spectrum of interests will submit their cases. Top social media companies are receiving letters from the European Union requesting more transparency in their rules and content filtering over photographs and videos pertaining to the Hamas attacks on Israel last weekend. Breton said that his team will follow up with another specific request and requested a response to the letter within a day, with a focus on reporting on crisis measures being taken and making sure the content moderation teams are working effectively. Musk responded to the letter that was shared on the site by stating, "Our policy is that everything is open source and transparent," and requested specific interactions. I would want you to use extreme caution in order to guarantee that the DSA's regulations of terms of service, the necessity of taking reasonable and efficient mitigation measures, and the demand for prompt, careful and objective action in response to notices for unlawful content in the EU are strictly followed, the letter says. I kindly request that you make sure your systems are functioning properly. What do you think about the scenario? Comment your thoughts and subscribe to our channel for more updates.